Yes, ma'am. We will have a deputy out there to you as soon as possible. It's not a problem. It's what we do. And I'm Senior Dispatcher Bert Calibro, and this is inside HCSO.
QS4 47 and 37 are dispatched.
SO1, we've got him. 1015 times 1, stand by.
378205846.
Coming up on this episode of Inside HCSO, deputies nab a prolific ID thief and his cache of information. A car crash ends the getaway of two siblings who stole a pizza shop cash register. And our new law enforcement memorial is dedicated as we honor our fallen deputies. Hello and welcome. I'm Captain Chad Chronister. This is our own webcast where we give you exclusive insight and information on the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Let's go inside HCSO. A woman spots a suspicious person roaming around a parking lot and calls us. This routine call evolved into a major identification theft case. Good lesson from this observant citizen. If you see something, say something. Here's more.
We got a call of a possible vehicle burglaries off a Network Place. There was a witness that looked out the window. When she looked out her window, she saw a gentleman trying to enter cars. When we arrived, she pointed us in the general direction that the gentleman went. A small search of the parking lot, we saw him sitting in a vehicle. We made contact with him. He couldn't give us a reason for being there. We took custody of him and brought him back to the district. Upon entering and searching his car, they found multiple IDs, multiple credit cards, checks, blue bins that were full of mail and, anything that could have someone's ID on it.
I was able to draft charges of unlawful possession of criminal identification information of 5 or more, which is a third-degree felony. Additionally, which was found in the vehicle were remnants of a check cashing ring, counterfeit checks, and it's just the tip of the iceberg that these identity thieves have. Eventually, most likely, this may go federal due to the sheer amount of numbers. You're talking about 500 names, dates of birth, and socials. That equates to like a 7-figure loss, over $1 million loss in tax fraud just for the mere amount of names. With the help of district patrol deputies, this is how we get our calls, whether it be a domestic violence charge case, a suspicious person with a backpack. This loitering and prowling, it blossoms into a misdemeanor charge, violation of probation, then now you're talking felony charges, and then eventually federal charges.
Two bored brothers decide to swipe the cash register from a Little Caesars pizza shop. They didn't count on crashing their getaway car.
I was on my way home from an elementary school detail when the call went out that the Little Caesars had been robbed. I went in through the Ehrlich entrance and was going through the parking lot when they updated that the vehicle had fled and had crashed. I went out to the Turner Road exit. Once I turned onto that road, I could see that the vehicles were a little further south. The passenger of the vehicle was already on the ground behind the vehicle, and the driver was crawling out through the passenger side door. We ordered them to the ground. They complied. Lieutenant Greco provided cover while I secured and searched the two subjects.
During the course of the investigation, basically we learned that two brothers woke up and they actually went to school. And when they arrived at school, they decided it wasn't a good day to go to school, so they decided they needed to get some money to buy some gas and lunch. Apparently they were buying a Little Caesars pizza. They decided they're going to go in and grab a cash register. When the employees went in the back, they grabbed the cash register real quick and ran outside and jumped in the car, and that's when they crashed, and that's where we left with Deputy Simpson.
If they had not crashed as they were trying to get away from the scene, they may have possibly gotten away or possibly ended up in a pursuit, because the information we had at the time was that it was an armed robbery. So we could have had a pursuit which could have endangered others. So we were fortunate that it ended the way it ended.
3 people having dinner got a rude interruption when a relative barged into the house and wanted to start a fight. This confrontation continued outside where the suspect pulls a pocket knife. The suspect chased after 2 of the victims who managed to get away. The suspect then disappeared into the night. Patrol deputies got on scene and summoned help from our aviation and canine units. Master Deputy Mike Surensey and his canine partner Max arrived on scene as Sheriff's Pilot Jay Bridwell and Deputy Doug Simmons searched from a helicopter. The 50-year-old suspect tried to hide by lying down in some heavy brush, but he couldn't get away from the helicopter's night vision camera, which detected the glowing heat source of a person in a nearby backyard. Deputy Surensey and Max were soon on top of the suspect. End of story. Check out these 2 security camera cases where the suspects are unknown. All we need is a name. Please help us if you can. Here we see a man who walked into a Walmart in Town and Country and headed for the health and beauty supplies. He stuffed $300 worth of Gillette Fusion razors in his pants pockets and strolled for the door. He didn't know it, but the store security personnel were watching him the entire time. Outside the entrance, a store security officer tried to detain the thief, but the thief didn't want any part of that, so he flails his arms and manages to get away. He hopped into the passenger seat of a green Honda Accord station wagon and the driver hit the gas. The thief had a mustache, a full beard, and was wearing a red and white striped polo shirt, jeans, and white sneakers. In this next incident, the thief was in Macy's at Westfield Brandon Mall. He approached the watch counter and a sales clerk asked him if he needed help. He politely responded, "No, thank you." When the clerk turned her back, the thief cut the security cable on a counter display of Michael Kors watches. He made a beeline for the doors and was last seen carrying the watch display and disappearing into the sunshine. He got away with about $10,000 in watches. We believe he's in his late 20s and about 6 feet tall. Please help us with any information on this murder from January 2014. Here's more.
On January 10th, 2014 at approximately 10:10 p.m., the victim, Zen Nguyen, was found deceased in his residence at 2008 Holly Court in Tampa. He was last seen alive at approximately 11:07 a.m., leaving the Chase Bank located at 2802 East Fletcher Avenue, west of 30th Street, earlier that day. It was believed he was murdered sometime shortly after being seen there. He was found inside his residence by a friend, Frederick Walker, who went to Zen's house to drop off some clothing that Zen had agreed to keep for him. Fred was a local homeless person Zen had recently reunited with on the streets. There appeared to be no forced entry into the house, and there were no signs of a violent struggle inside. Zen was a disabled Vietnamese man who had been homeless in the past. He also had a history of drug and alcohol abuse. Through the investigation, we learned several people had been in and out of Zen's residence on a temporary basis, but it is believed he was living alone at the time of his murder. He was well known in the area of Fletcher and 20th Street and well liked by those who knew him. Zen traveled using the public bus transit but walked to most places on foot. He frequented the BP gas station located at the northwest corner of Fletcher Avenue and 20th Street, a short distance from his house. The Hillsborough County Medical Examiner's Office determined the cause of death to be upper body trauma and the manner of death to be homicide. There is a reward being offered through the Bay Area Crime Stoppers for any information leading to an arrest in this case.
Hello, I'm Detective Oliver with the Homicide Unit. We are looking for anyone who may have information which may help us solve this case, bring closure to the family, and bring a killer to justice. Please call us if you have any information. Thank you.
Our most reverent event each year was extra special this year as we dedicated our law enforcement memorial. All of this would not have been possible without the outstanding support of citizens and companies who donated time, money, and material. Thank you from all of us.
Each year we gather as a community to remember those deputies who, through the storied history of this office, have made the ultimate sacrifice. And tonight's service is made more memorable, as you all know, by the dedication of this beautiful Fallen Heroes Memorial and a permanent tribute to our fallen deputies, appropriately framed by the beautiful red brick roads of this historic center of our community, which will be cloaked in the lights of ornate lamps that lighted the way as Hillsborough County grew to the greatness that it is today and that we call home. This memorial that you see before you is constructed of granite, terrazzo, and glass, and bears the names of 15 people, ordinary men and women just like you, who without hesitation performed extraordinary feats to protect fellow citizens and to allow our community to prosper and to grow and to become what it has become today. Each day, law enforcement officers across the nation leave their homes and families to protect us, to preserve the way of life that we all cherish so much. They embark on their assigned duties knowing the inherent dangers of their chosen profession. They, you, are the guardians and protectors. They are the ones who run to danger while others turn away. And in the end, satisfaction to them is knowing that they have helped others. For those who gave their lives in the line of duty, their final radio call goes unanswered. And law-abiding people come together just like this today in Hillsborough County to salute their sacrifice. But as the sound of taps fades and the folded flag assumes a place of honor in the home they've left behind, the survivors of these fallen heroes must find the path forward. As we all know, families bear the full weight of this burden. They lose more than a dedicated public servant. For all of them, it is personal. It touches the heart and it touches the soul. It touches their very being. It is family.
That's a wrap on episode 27. Hope you enjoyed it. Sheriff David G. and everyone at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office are grateful for your support. In between episodes of Inside HCSO, you can always stay informed through Facebook and on Twitter. Hurricane season 2014 is here. Make a plan, stay informed, and gather those emergency supplies so that all of you can stay safe, Hillsborough County.